What is true strength? Is it the ability to save the person you love? Is it the will to keep fighting when you know it's hopeless? Or is it being more powerful than anyone else? If so, doesn't this make you like no one else? This may sound good, but when you take a step back, it means that you can't relate to anyone else, or all the problems fall onto your shoulders. True strength comes with a burden to want to do everything for everyone, but in reality, you can't. And I believe three characters represent this better than anyone. Those characters being Saitama, Gojo, and Yoriichi. Now I know some of you are like, hey, wait, how does being the strongest give them a curse? But in reality, for these characters, it truly affects them and is bad in many ways. Starting off with Satoru Gojo, he's a complex character when you look at it. As we all know, he is the most powerful person in JJK, and we see that multiple times in the anime and manga. We can just see how cocky Gojo is because he knows he can't be touched by anyone else because he is the strongest. But Gojo's character goes a lot deeper than just this cocky attitude. During the hidden inventory arc, at this point, Gojo wasn't as full peak yet, but he was still respectively one of the strongest Jujutsu sorcerers. But anyways, throughout the arc, we see Gojo confident in his abilities and his job to protect Amanai. But as the arc progresses and Toji absolutely obliterates him in their first battle, we see Gojo start to waver. But as we know, he learns reverse curse technique, and then he fights with Toji again and almost seemingly one-taps him. But my point is that even though Gojo himself was strong and powerful enough to defeat Toji, he still lost as in the sense of losing Amanai, as Toji had previously killed her in their last encounter. And at the part of him carrying her dead body, this is where we see more or less the curse of his character, in which made him come to the realization of even though he was the strongest, he still could not save Amanai. Even more so, the results of the hidden inventory arc also led to Geto turning towards evil, and then when they interact again, we see another point of how Gojo is burdened by being the strongest, as we see him not having the will to take out Geto when he was clearly able to. Gojo realizing that he can't do it and kill his longtime friend makes him come to the understanding that no matter how strong you are, there are just some things that you cannot control, which goes to show the complex nature of being the true strongest. Because Gojo is truly strong, but even with true strength there comes a cost, a curse, a burden that you can never shake. The second character I want to talk about is Yoriichi. Now, there isn't much of Yoriichi in Demon Slayer as there is Gojo and JJK, but him being the strongest as well as the burdens are still very apparent through the story and backstory we do see of him. In the Demon Slayer verse, he is the absolute strongest. No one could rival him. He almost beat Muzan and made him go into hiding and speed blitzed his brother, Kokoshibo, at 80 years old and nearly killed him before he died due to old age. These statements without a doubt prove that he is the strongest, but even though with all the strength, he felt worthless. His feelings of worthlessness came from events throughout his life. Thinking back to when he talked with Tanjiro's ancestors, he claimed his name held no value because he failed in his ultimate goal in defeating Muzan completely. He also was not able to stop his brother from turning to the demons. Granted, he didn't know until later in life. But even then, his own brother turned to the demons for more power as a result of his own strength. As powerful as he may be, he cannot do everything, and as well as he never had a family as he felt a sense of responsibility to take down demons, so he had no time to start one. Being the strongest means it's on you every time something bad happens, which is very apparent through Yoriichi's character, as he has the burden of trying to defeat all the demons and spread his breathing style around to other slayers. The feeling of the constant need to keep slaying demons was seemingly his prison, as he truly felt that it was his only goal in life and there was nothing else more for him. No other purpose but to fight. Finally, the last character I want to talk about is Saitama. Saitama isn't necessarily like these other characters I've talked about, but there are some similarities. Throughout the story of One Punch Man and through the manga, and we see how Saitama is always bored because he can win effortlessly without any real struggle. He yearns for a battle that actually tests his wits, his will, his determination. For example, in Season 1, we see Saitama fight the Underground Dwellers, where he actually has to put in effort and skill into fighting them. While it is revealed later that it was just a dream, we can clearly see a deeper meaning here, that being the want, the fulfillment. The fulfillment of being rivals with an opponent or a connection with someone who can push you to your limits. Saitama struggles a lot with this, and he also struggles with loneliness. The fact that no one will ever truly understand him or what he's going through because in means of power, no one can match him. The other heroes either fear him or doubt him, and this leads to true loneliness, save for Genos. Though, like the other two characters, he struggles a lot with the big issue of even though the character themselves is strong, that doesn't mean the ones they love are. During the fight, when Garou unlocks his cosmic form, he kills Genos and rips out his core as Saitama stands there watching. The fight between him and Garou finally gives him a true fulfilling rival, but at what cost? He watches his own friend die, showing how he can never have truly all the things he wants. Having true strength is a gift and a curse, because with it, you can never have everything. It's like a trade-off. If you become the strongest, you lose connection. If you want a rival, your friends suffer. You want to defeat all the demons, you don't get to a family or relationships. These characters all demonstrate how being the strongest isn't all what everyone makes it out to be. It's not getting whatever you want, but instead sacrificing what you want for the needs of others. The burden of being the strongest is not glory, it is guilt, isolation, and the belief that every tragedy, every bad thing is somehow your fault. Saitama, Gojo, and Yoriichi stand as mirrors to this belief. As Saitama loses his fulfillment, Gojo loses connection, and Yoriichi loses everything he loves. They remind us that being the strongest is not just about defeating enemies, but carrying the weight of a world that will never truly understand you. In the end, strength without struggle, without companionship, without meaning, becomes a curse heavier than any battle.